Wood! Wood beats water! Battle beasts. Just activate their battle badges.
I got fire! I got water!
Battle beasts can grow into an army. Collect all 84.
Welcome back to the Tiger Hanger. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about the entire collection, every figure and every single vehicle playset made for the 1987 Battle Beast. And this is definitely a fun little toy line and a little bit overlooked. Very, very expensive nowadays. These things have skyrocketed like most 80s toys have. Today on Retro Wednesday, we're going to look at everything Battle Beasts, and we're going to touch on Laser Beasts. I'm going to consider that a whole different episode. Obviously, I can't complete that just yet, but eventually I will get around to it. But let's just talk about Battle Beast, playsets, figures, chariots, and all the functions, and more, coming up. All right, before we get into the figures, which is where I want to start, we got to talk about the scale. These are smaller than Star Wars, way smaller than Star Wars. They're less than half the height, and almost about half the height of a Kid or Mass figure. So very, very short figures. And back in the day, I was really into 3.75. Most people were. Part of what held this line back was their shortness, but also the fact they were packing 2 for 1 in the package was also a selling point to other kids. Diamond Select made some mini-mates later on that are interesting. They're similar to what you've seen before in the past. They're real close to some of the figures and characters we've seen, but they're different, and they're not made the same. There's a little bit more articulation, different weapons, different accessories. The look is different, but it still pays homage, and it even says Battle Beast on the packaging. It's a whole lot of fun. I don't know if I'm in on all of them, though. Takara made what they call the Beast Saga collection right here. There are more figures based on existing characters we're about to look at, but they made it into a dice game where it was a little dicey. You pushed it out to roll the dice, and that overshadowed what it should have been. As you can see, though, even the Diamond Select ones are taller than the Takara remakes. Takara remakes are closer to what we got back in the day. And if I see Hasbro do retros, I can see Hasbro doing retros about this scale. Make them a little bit bigger so vintage collectors don't feel shafted, but everybody else wanting to get in on this, it would be awesome to be able to collect these modern, new, with great working rub signs. Here's packaging to one of the Takara ones. I just kept one in the package just so I can show what it looks like packaged, and you can see it's Takara Tomy, and you can see the back. Don't really think much of this was intended for U.S. collectors, but of course, we got our hands on them one way or another. Okay, so this is how they were packaged. They did have a gimmick where you could rub. So the package shows water, wood, or firewood, water. Fire beats wood, wood beats water, water, of course, beats fire. I don't know if any of these are going to show up on here. Having a lot of trouble getting this to show up. And maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. Maybe I'll enlarge it in editing, but I'm not really going to go through the whole feature of trying to get them to work. Not all mine work, and the ones that do, it's still kind of faint, and my camera can't seem to capture it. Anyway, let's get into the first one. Pirate Lion is going to be the first one that we take a look at. And this guy here does look like a lion, does look like a pirate. He has his pirate eye patch right there, and he's got some blue on him, and he would, if you rubbed his symbol, he'd either be water, wood, or fire. And I would assume because he's blue, he should be with the water. Here's the thing, though. You could have had all the different rub signs on the same figure. 3 different versions of him, all with different rub signs. If you went after that hard, I definitely didn't go after that hard. He comes with a sword right here. And these weapons are flexible. They're made in 3 different colors. You get them. Some of them are silver, some of them are gold, some of them are like a deeper gold, and then some are purple, so 4 different colors, I guess you could say. But there's his sword, and these start to get a little bit pricey. He's the number one, the very first one, and even he commands at least $30 on the average day. And with that, some are cheaper, some are way cheaper, some are way more expensive, but it looks pretty good. We'll also do the articulation. They just have arm articulation, no head or leg articulation whatsoever in these figures. Pretty cool stuff, though. Getting started with him, let's get into the number 2. Number 2 is Deer Stalker, and if you might have guessed, it looks like a deer. Deer? Yes, it does look like a deer, and I think that it's pretty cool looking. He's got this permanent drill. It doesn't move. It's just mounted there. And he's got some antlers like a deer. And he has... I'm always tempted to see if I can get one to work and the camera pick it up. But that looks like it's picking something up. But yeah, he's an interesting looking one. He's got some shades on. There's multiple paint hits on here. He is, I think, cast in brown, painted with green, orange, and there's a lot of other orange in him. So basically orange and green paint hits on this guy, but he looks pretty good overall. He does come with this. On one hand, I want to call it a boomerang, but I know it's not. On the other hand, it looks like it's just one of those kind of a melee device. It's double bladed on each side. Still kind of fun, still kind of cool, a little bit on the flexible side of this. I like to keep it like that so you can see a little bit better in the display. But that is Deerstalker number 2. Number 3 is Ferocious Tiger, and let's try to get in on this guy here. And he looks like a tiger. There's his tiger of a face, and he's got a stripe on his head, which is kind of cool. Looks like he's got brown paint and some pink and even like a hotter pink or maybe an orange for the eyes with him. And yeah, I'm not gonna mess that gimmick, but he does come with like a double-sided spiked mace, so you can have it on either side, which is very interesting. Very interesting touch there with that. A little flexible on that. Arms moving. And yeah, pretty cool looking little guy right here. Pretty common though. So I would say that this is one I think I have a few of. And it's fun to have extras of these that you got cheap so that you can put them in your displays with your playsets. Number 4. We're moving fast. Number 4, Colonel Bird. If you want to know how many there are 76 figures we're going to look at. Then we're going to do just a quick look at Laser Beast before we get into all of the rest of the vehicles and stuff. So this is Colonel Bird. He does look like a bird. He's got wings. They are not detachable. I do believe they're cast separately and glued on, but I'm not 100% sure about that because they feel flimsier than the rest of the figure. He does have some paint apps like some yellow, some bluish, some turquoise. Also, he's got this... I don't even know what you call this weapon, but you've got kind of a double blade up here, and kind of almost a trident in a way, and then these blades down there. It's like a smaller version of the top, and he stands pretty well. So another thing I want to say is these figures do stand relatively well. Very few of them do I have that fall over, but I mean that would just be with time and all of that good or bad stuff. I mean, time has done some of them well, and some of them not. This is Colonel Bird, and you gotta do what he says. All right, next we get into number 9, Rocky Rhino, number 9. And he comes with this weird-looking weapon accessory, something like that. And he's got a nice rhino head, so you can rush into battle with the Transformers and hit... I bet he's a bad guy, though. I can't tell. I don't know which ones are good or bad guys, so that's something that I'll have to learn down the road. He looks like he's cast in this gray, overlaid with yellow and then red sprays on some paint. And yeah, overall, pretty interesting looking guy. Looks like he's wearing some cyber armor. They all kind of look like they're wearing cyber armor. But there it is with good old Rocky Rhino. Next up, we have number 10, Roman Buffalo. And he does come with this kind of hook shape. Almost kind of looks like upside down horns or something, but it is an interesting little weapon accessory, kind of into the gold. So is this the first one I think that we've got into gold? I think the next 10 or so are gold weapons. He does have a hook for a hand. He's got a hook hand instead of an actual hand. He's got some giant horns on here. They do curl up, which is interesting, and I think these tips might break off if people are not careful. Has nice little yellow paint apps all over, cast in gray, kind of like ones we just saw, and then overlaid with some green. And it's nice that they have all of these figures sequentially having color breakup, aside from the weapons, of course. But I think that was a cost measure when it comes to manufacturing. This many have the same color of weapon. Anyway, this one here, Roman Buffalo, kind of cool for a figure in the Great Plains. Next up, we have a figure named Grizzly Bear. And the thing is, he's not any bigger than the rest of them, which you would think like different animals would be larger than other ones. But here they're all getting the same size treatment. So they all get to be the same size, even though they're different animals, which is a price point thing, is a consistency, continuity thing. He comes with this, it's a nice axe with a much larger blade than handle. That's just the way it is, but it's cool. And it's another one in gold. He is cast in the brown, and he has some blue overlay and some yellow. It looks like his fire or water or whatever is wanting to come through. Whatever it is wanting to come through there. So there's a fourth symbol also on some of these. That's, I guess, trumps everything. But anyhow, Grizzly Bear, I would say Grizzly Bear should trump everything just because shouldn't he be the biggest and most powerful? We'll see. Number 12, we have Blitzkrieg Bat. And he comes with this giant hook of a weapon. And axe, hook, mace thing. It's gold also. He does have some wings. And this is strange because his little symbol is on the wing. I wonder if that makes it last longer. I wonder if it make it work better. Probably not. Anyway, he has a hook for a hand, so there's another one, like the fourth one that doesn't have a hand. It has a hook or a stabbing weapon or something. And he looks like a pirate, too, because he's got that with his eye in there. And he is cast in kind of a tan color. Would you say this is the true color of a bat? I'm not sure. That should say his number 12 there, and you see it on his weapon too. Some other colors in here, kind of a dark charcoal, almost a black color, and then we have kind of a teal for the hook. This one, a fun one, Blitzkrieg Bat. Number 13 is Gargantuan Gorilla, and don't be fooled by his name. He's no bigger than the rest of them. He's the same size as the rest of them. He does have this weapon here, which looks awfully similar to some of the other ones. So part of the problem with this toy line is these weapons look similar, but when you get them side by side to when you thought it was, it is actually different. So it's its own unique weapon. They all have unique weapons. None of them are reused, except for with Visionaries. And here we go with, you can see he's got his gorilla ape face. Looking pretty good overall. And he's cast in what looks like another dark charcoal color, and then he has kind of an off red, an auburn, I'm not sure, and then yellow overlays with him, yellow eyes, mean looking, almost kind of got a Optimus Prime vibe going on here, but no bigger than the rest of them. And there is Gargantuan Gorilla. Number 11 is Swiney Bear. Not Swiney Bear, he's a swiney bear. And he comes with this weird 4 tipped, 4 tips, 4 blades on this strange looking weapon. Definitely melee. We're still in the melee weapons. We don't see any guns until we get into the laser beasts. But anyway, he looks kind of interesting. He's got some painted on hair. He's got like a little bit of hair right there. They don't all have hair. Some of them are bald, most of them, or they have a cap on or something. And he has kind of some bluish armor. He's cast in a light purple, which a lavender wave, like Shockwave, like the first Masterpiece Shockwave. And nice little paint apps there. His mouth breather kind of thing is painted, and it's kind of an orange. But good looking figure overall. Really not one of my favorites though. This is number 14, Swiney Bear. Number 15 is Gruesome Gator. So he's an alligator, and he's got a nice alligator head. It definitely works in there. Not sure if the color really would match the gator, but they went with the green paint overlay over the cast in kind of an off-white eggshell kind of color, and some orangish red on top of it for some accents and some eyes. And he's got this weapon here, another one that looks like other ones that are out there. It's gold. It's 4 points on it, and I think it's best to display it like that. I like to display them where you can see their weapon. You have to kind of keep this arm down too in the display. But there he is. Let's look at the back of him real quick. He has a tail. Okay, something special in the back. He's got a tail. This is number 15, the most gruesome of all gators. Number 16 is Sly fox. And this one here looks a little bit different. He's cast in kind of a tan color. And yes, does look like a fox. It's foxy. It's not a silver fox, though. He's got white armor and, yeah, kind of a tan color right there. Some sort of teal accents going on with him from the back. He has a tail also, so they're starting to include some tails on these guys. Well, I guess if the animal had a tail, then the figure should have a tail. He also comes with this weird-looking weapon right here. Of course, another melee weapon. Kind of an axe. I don't know, which way would you swing it? Would you swing it this way or swing it that way? Interesting. Anyway, a lot of fun for number 16, Sly Fox. I betcha he's not a shy fox. Next up, we have something called Hard-Top Tortoise. Hard-Top Tortoise. Does he look like a turtle? A tortoise to you? Well, I guess he's got like a turtle head. And yeah, that's the head popping out of a shell. And his armor could look like a shell. Okay, I got it. I get it. Get it now. And then he comes with this weapon here, which is triple bladed, but it's okay. This is asymmetrical. So are most of the weapons and accessories, and it might bother some people that it's asymmetrical. He can't at all hold it in this other claw hand. He's another one with a not traditional hand, a claw hand. Don't think turtles had hands like that, but turtles have tails though, and he has no tail. So there it is. Anyway, he's got a little bit of bright green. So he's stepping into neon green, and it wasn't even the 90s yet. This one is Hardtop Tortoise. Number 18 is Rubber Neck Giraffe. And I have to admit that his weapon looks like antlers. It is so kind of cool. I kind of think that this is the figure that they made from Diamond Select to match this guy. But yet again, it doesn't match. So there he goes. Off he goes. And he's yellow like a giraffe would be. His head does look like a giraffe head. I mean, obviously a real giraffe, the neck would be way longer, but it's long enough that it's there and it works. There's not very many giraffe figures, not very many anthropomorphic giraffe figures. I know there was one that was kind of like a baseball character. I don't even know what they called him, but Half Court or something like that. But he was a giraffe one in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But we've got this one here in Battle Beast. He is yellow with some turquoise teal kind of paint and a little bit of reddish mauvish paint from the back there. Would have been crazy if they gave him a tail. He does have claws here, or maybe they're just hoofs. Anyway, this is Rubberneck Giraffe, and his neck's not actually made of rubber. Next up we have Prickly Porcupine, and I would have to say with him, I don't know what a porcupine's head looks like, but I know porcupines have spikes. They have their needles, their pin needles. And here we go with lots of little spikes coming off of him that simulate porcupine. Not to a level that would be an actual porcupine, not to an annoying level, but just enough to accent it so you get the idea that he is porcupine-y. And I think that is actually done relatively well. He even has some porcupine stuff on his accessory, his weapon here. Good looking figure overall. Kind of muted colors though, which maybe that's just mine, but because I've seen them with brighter colors, and I'm just out getting the cheapest one I can get. You know, if I got it for $5 or $12 or something, then I was happy. But I do think that the paint should have been brighter on this guy, more yellowish than orangish. But it is what it is. I got what I got, and I'm sharing it here. Prickly Porcupine. Next up is Sawtooth Shark. And I guess I was wrong. Maybe this was the remake of Sawtooth Shark right here. Maybe that's the remake of Sawtooth Shark. But it doesn't match it 100%, so who cares? Anyway, he does look interesting. Now, I do like his color scheme. It is multiple different versions of blue color on here, which is nice. It is an interesting breakaway, a departure from colors I've used before. And then, of course, the red down here, got his symbol. He has this trident, which you would expect a shark to have. Something of that kind of a weapon, I guess. I don't know. Look at that giant shark fin. It's not a tail. It's a fin. So he's got a double fin. You know he's coming when you see his fins. And then he's got fins for shoulder pieces. So there he is. Nice, evil little eyes. He almost looks like a dolphin, though, with his shark head. This one here, number 20, is Sawtooth Shark. And then Prickly Porcupine was number 19. Number 21 is Danger Dog. And does he actually look like a dog? I guess. Yeah, he's got the little snout on there. He's got the ears up. They're not floppy either. He's got a mean little... He almost looks like a mouse or a rat, though. So I'll take it as a dog, though. There's his weapon, his accessory, and it is what it is. I'm going to stop trying to guess what they are and just kind of point it out. This is his weapon, his accessory. It can be held either way like that. He's cast in a darker brown with some really light green on it. Kind of like a pine green, I would say. No, it's even lighter than that. And then some yellow for the knee pads. And probably more yellow here that's rubbed off. Mine, of course, the history. I've already talked about the history of my collecting. I got them as cheap as I could and then completed them as cheap as I could. That's just the way it is. And for that, probably not the best shape, Danger Dog. Looking for some danger. Next up is Hair-Raising Rabbit, which I actually like this one for some reason. It has those strange colors to him, which oddly enough, the next one's going to have very similar color scheme to him. But he's got like a light green and then a darker green and then sort of a pinkish red to him. He's got this double-bladed weapon here, which kind of looks like a part that's on the G.I. Joe Cobra Claw, that top piece there. Anyway, this directional. He's got these giant ears on him. Got a tiny little stubby rabbit tail. And yeah, not a bad looking figure overall. I just like this one for some reason. It just feels different. It feels a little more fun. He looks more quick and agile because a rabbit would be. But anyway, Hair-Raising Rabbit, lots of fun. Next on the list, Sir, Sire, Horse, number 23. Hair-Raising Rabbit was 22. I think I'm forgetting to say the numbers of these. I think that's important to know the numbers. And with that, this one was a little more expensive to get for some reason. I'm not sure why, but he does kind of look like a horse. He does look like a horse. I think a lot of stuff has to do with timing and just like you look today and there's none. You look 3 months later and there's 6 of them and they're all fighting to see who can be the cheapest. So just all depends, I guess. But still, he looks pretty good. His symbol should go there if he had one. And he's kind of a light green covered with armor in blue and some red accents. And this is his accessory, which looks like an axe. I don't know. I'll ask him later. And then this is a pretty good looking figure overall. I do like how they sort of usually nail the head sculpts to look like the animal. And that works with, of course, Sir, Sire, Horse, Your Majesty. Next up's number 24, the War Weasel. War Weasel is an interesting figure. He looks like a weasel, I guess. I wouldn't trust him, though. Ha, ha, ha. And he looks sort of interesting with kind of an orangish, brownish skin tone, some blue armor, and some yellow accents. His weapon looks kind of freaky, weird. This is where it stops looking like sharp edges and starts looking more just blocky in a way. But anyway, War Weasel, let's look at him from the back, from behind. That's what he looks like from behind. And look, pretty good looking figure overall, but a bit on the boring side. But he does have this face mask, which I'm wondering, what's he trying to conceal? Did they start throwing face masks on a lot of them going forward? After this one, after good old War Weasel. Next up we have number 35, Bloodthirsty Bison. Does that head look like it works for it? Yeah, I guess it works. Look at that nice, all that hair going on back there. The horns work for it. Is that extra paint apps right there inside of kind of the headpiece? Got some nice beady eyes there. He's got an off-centered, it's a bit off-centered for the rub. If you want to try to rub that and get all that stuff going on. Kind of purple armor going on there. Spiky knees going on. And then there's his weapon. Now this is, it's strange. Like they're rounded edges and then spikes on the inside. Strange looking weapon. Where do they come up with all this? All these melee things. No tail, of course, for whatever reason. But still, he's got a thirst for blood. bloodthirsty bison. Interesting looking figure. Number 26 is Big Horn Sheep. And this guy here is kind of an interesting figure because he does have these antlers kind of rolled around there. With his horns, I guess you would say, but they're rolled horns like a sheep would have. And he's got a face mask, so he's incorporating some of the new gimmicks that they want to put. He's got hooks, what you ever want to say these hooks are, on the side of his shoulders. And he's kind of a light blue with a bit of a greenish, military green armor and some yellow accents. There he is from the back. And yeah, it looks okay as a figure. I'm not exactly sure what his weapon is supposed to be. Why this opening is in here, I guess to have some more stabbing ability on the edges there. But anyhow, this is Big Horn Sheep number 26. Next up, we've got Web Slinger Spider. Now, I would have to say there's probably some chances of breaking off these tentacles here. They just look like they're prone to break. Mine are there. I'm happy. Does his face look like a spider face? How often do you look at a spider in his face? Never. Unless you're looking at it through a 1,000-time lens. Anyway, there's his web-looking, I guess. Web-looking weapon. Like he's got a little webbing there, I guess. That's the whole point of it. Still interesting with that. He is kind of a grayish one with a lavender armor. And I'm sure he's water, because I don't know if he wants wood or fire in his life. But anyway, this is the Web Slinger Spider. Web Stinger Spider. Next up we have Krusty Krab. Not to be confused with, is there a Krusty the Krab on SpongeBob? Don't be confused with that one. This dude's in orange. He's got a giant crab claw instead of a hand, which makes a lot of sense. But the other hand is a normal hand, more or less. Well, it does look kind of like a crab claw, but smaller. It also looks like a crab claw on his weapon. So that all works. Yeah, I can get with crab claw weapon. And he's got some paint apps here with some yellow to signify eyes, mouth, whatever that is. And then kind of some brown armor. No crab tail. Yeah, Krusty the Krab. Did it get knocked off? Did that name get knocked off more than once? All right, next up we have Icky Iguana. And ew. No, it's not ew. This is number 29. It comes with this kind of wavy sword, which this kind of makes sense. It tapers off at the end too. They do this with a lot of them where they taper off at the end at the bottom. And that's interesting. Let's see, iguana head. That's what iguana head looks like, if you were curious. And it's getting cold, so it's even harder to do that. But he's got mostly yellow, cast in yellow with some orange, some kind of red eyes, red beady eyes, more red on orange accents, which is a little hard to see. But he's a color breakup. There's not very many figures that have this color scheme with yellow and orange on them, so that does make it look good. It's definitely interesting with it. He's got spiky shoulder pads, and there he is from behind. There we go. Icky Iguana. I guess the colors make him special. Next up we've got Armored Armadillo, number 30. He's got one of these kind of spinny, double-bladed looking things. That's kind of interesting and rounded. Does his face look like an iguana? Yeah, I guess it does. Armadillo. Still stuck on iguana. Yeah, that's an armadillo head. I've seen several armadillos in my day, and that works. It's cast in brown, got some kind of fuchsia-looking color armor, and some yellow accents on that. Missing his rub sign. It's been rubbed off all the way. So what happens when you can't get it to show up? You rub it off all the way, but it's what it is. Got it as cheap as I could, and with that, it looks pretty good. It gets the job done for an iguana. Looking at the back here, you've got bare back. Most of them have armor on the back. No armor on his back because I guess the armadillo has his own armor. This is Armored Armadillo. All right, number 31. We're Jaded Jag. He's been jaded, and he comes with very interesting odd weapon. It looks like it's got sort of maybe tassels hanging off of it or something, but we know that's meant for some chopping Some triple chopping going on right there. It looks kind of like a spear in a way. There's his head. Jaguar? Is he a jaguar? Jaguar? And then here's the back of him. Got an armor on him. He looks very similar to some of the other ones we've seen. And I do believe that some of these designs are sort of redundant and similar, which is kind of one of the problems with collecting this toy line, is they just kind of blend in a little bit, but they all have distinctively different weapons, and this one is Jaded Jag. Next is number 32, Humongous Hippo. And just like Jaded Jag, it's strange. I think I'm kind of going in twos in a way when I grab them off the display stand. And it's got the same concept of those three pieces hanging off when it comes to the weapon, which is kind of strange. Let's see the hippopotamus. Wish there was a hippopotamus. What's the hippopotamus song? There's a hippopotamus song. Anyway, there's his rub sign and his axe weapon. He's cast in gray. Got some blue and some red on him. No tail. Lots of armor. Looking sci-fi. Looking like he's going to go take on some Transformers. But he's not big enough, so he's not really going to do much damage. Even though he's called Humongous Hippo, he's not very big. Next up we have Major Moose. And he's got a major amount of moose antler. They're huge. They call the antler on moose, but yeah, they're pretty big. And I'm pretty sure some have had them broken off before. That's probably a thing that's happened in the past. But he does come with this antler-looking accessory, and it's different than the one that came with the deer. So those are sort of similar, but this is more. It's not. None of these are symmetrical, but it's more symmetrical than the deer one, and it's a little cleaner and neater, as in the deer one's kind of like jagged and all over the place. He is cast in brown, and nice, I guess, moose head. Some blue armor. Well, it's light blue armor, and then some red on his eyeballs. There's the back of him with his armor, and Major Moose is got a major problem. Next we have the Chameleon. This one was actually trickier to track down than I thought. It was one of the last like 10 that I needed, and tricky. But there's his weapon and his accessory, bendy, and I'm not exactly sure if it matches a chameleon. Kind of a chameleon lizard kind of look to him, yellow. Would have been cool if he color changed or if he did something like that. But then again, that probably would have made him not look so good down the road like right now. He does have the chest piece on him, and yellow, blue, and red. And just so you know, starting at Iki Iguana, I guess we got into Series 2. So we're into Series 2. I guess I should have had a distinctive line there. And with that, some of these are going to be a little more challenging to get, a little bit less common. Next up we have number 35, Kickback Kangaroo. And I think that this one, along with the rabbit, I got the same rabbit vibes because I got the big old ears and stuff. But their accessory is sort of similar. I like this accessory here with it. It's just it's simple and plain. It does look exactly like a boomerang with a handle on it, almost as like he can throw the boomerang and then catch it back with this accessory. That's what it looks like to me. He does have a really long tail, and it makes him very stable, although stability is not an issue with any of these figures so far. And he's got some sort of a nose protector on there, but looks like a kangaroo. There's no pouch on him. And with that, he has some teal armor, kind of gray skin. But I like that. Kickback Kangaroo. We have Octillion the Octopus, which is really a quadrupus because he has only 4 arms. I guess you count these little stubs that are going to grow into something, I guess, down the road, maybe. But octopus face, octopus head. He's the octopus. There's his. I don't know how they decided to give this accessory to him, which I can't seem to get to slide down more. It should be more like in the middle. Yeah, there it goes. And there's back. He's got some serious paint rub here to what's going on. I guess it was heavily loved, rubbed their rub off. But there it is. Octillion Octopus. And this one I would classify as way different than the rest. Next up we've got Wolfgang Walrus. Let's get these a little closer in on the camera. I won't have to touch him quite as much. And he's got some giant walrus fangs there. Here is his weapon accessory. Looks like a a hot knife cutter. Is that what it is? A hot knife? Look at the face sculpt. They do a good job with these face sculpts to make them look so good. He's gray with some yellow accents on him. And then here is his backside look. Yeah, not a bad looking figure overall. Definitely getting into some different stuff in here in the Series 2 figures with the Walrus here. Wolfgang Walrus. Except we've got Powerhouse Mouse. This is one I've had for quite a while. I think that it's kind of a fun one. He's a little mouse. He's a little guy. Well, he's the same size as the rest of them. Not sure why he's got a blue hand. What all that's supposed to be. Is it like electronic kind of cyborg hand? There's his mouse face. Does he look like a mouse? He look like Shredder? And then he look like a rat, right? So then he's got, I guess, a blue patch of hair or armor on his forehead. And then he's armored up with some pink looking stuff. And then there's the back of him. And look at, he's got a tail. So it's molded in tail, so it doesn't break off. Really smart. I like that detail. I like the way it's added. That really works. A little blue in the back there. You don't see a whole lot of extra overlay paint on the backs of these guys. But Powerhouse Mouse is a powerhouse with a blue robot hand. Next up is Dragoon Raccoon, number 39. Powerhouse Mouse was 38, and Wolfgang Walrus was 37. This one here, it looks different because he's green. He's got his kind of, I'm not sure why they've decided to give him the goggles. Well, I guess raccoons kind of have a look like that, so they gave him some goggles. And that is his face. Look at his weapon here. I'm not sure why they chose this to be his weapon. It looks like a Christmas tree in a way, but it is what it is. It's got some holes in it. I'm not so aerodynamic. So when you got spats as a kid, you would drill holes in the paddle, so less wind resistance. I mean, that was the key to getting good spats. That's where his rub should be, on the left side of his chest. And he's got some green paint, yellow paint, accents, areas with the back, nothing really going on. Back there, Dragoon Raccoon, and a nice color breakup for your shelf. Next up, we've got Antic Anteater, which is another one missing his rub. Another reason I like to do videos like this is just to kind of see on my collection, what am I missing? What do I need to do to get it where it needs to be? This is a nice, strange, it feels like a triple wrench. Like he's got different size wrenches, so he could... let's do some work here. You got some plumbing that I can do. And he's got a long anteater nose, which is kind of cool. And then nothing on the back. Looks like he's got some bombs back there or something. Maybe jetpack. But his hand is kind of his extra hand here is kind of like a gripping hand, like a 3-finger open gripping hand. Like he could hold an orb or something, which that would be kind of cool if he could hold an orb. Anyway, this is number 40. Antic Anteater. For some reason, I always thought it was Arctic Anteater. Next up is Runamuck Duck. Number 41. He's Runamuck Duck. And definitely looks like a duck. I mean, it's not quite Howard the Duck, but and definitely not Donald. And so I wonder what his voice would sound like. But he has this strange kind of pickaxe looking weapon accessory. It's got some different points on it. This another one that tapers at the bottom. So, and I'm doing these kind of in twos. I'm grabbing 2 at a time as I show them off. And there's some similarities, but there's no... It's rounded on that one. And I think this is when it converts over to the new color scheme. So this 41 here, there's a new color of accessory. It's no longer the gold. It went gold. It went kind of gray, kind of back to gold. Now it's whatever bronzish color this is. But anyway, Runamuck Duck. There's the back. You can see he's got some feathers on his rear, and he's got whatever's going on the bottom there, and he's got something on his foot. But that's probably not supposed to be there. Anyway, Runamuck Duck. Next up we have here is Minor Mole, and he looks pretty good. He's a nice looking figure. Definitely a different color scheme, going with some purple on the skin tone. And so we've got black armor. We've got white dots here and white dots on his eyes, red dot for his head sensor, maybe a nightlight or something along those lines. His weapon accessory here. I can't really explain what it's got going on here, but it is some sort of melee weapon. It almost looks like a skeleton key in a way, like it can unlock anything, but I know that's not what it does. Maybe it's a magic wand. But anyway, this one here is a minor mole. Next up, we got Cutthroat Cuttlefish number 43. Minor mole is 42. And he comes with this kind of double-bladed dagger spear head thing. It's kind of got two blades. One's larger than the other. And cuttlefish. Well, I'm not sure what a cuttlefish looks like. Looks almost like I call him maybe a hammerhead kind of deal going on there. Anyway, he's got what looks like octopus kind of arms that are going on. So anytime he moves his arm around, well, I guess it's supposed to be positioned like this, where you can see his tattoo on his shoulder because he's in the Navy, and then he's got the projectile, or maybe that's supposed to shoot or just stabs. And then he's got his rub-a-dub-dub. Pretty cool looking figure overall. He's got tattoos all over him. He's all tatted up. He's ready to go. No matter how you show his shoulders, he's going to have his tattoo showing. Anyway, this one here, Cutthroat Cuttlefish. Next up we have Eager Beaver, who is number 44. And I have to say that I couldn't think of anything funny to say about Eager Beaver. Eager Beaver. Justin Bieber? No. Okay, so he's got this giant knife, sword, knife, slashing, plus it's serrated on this side. It's strange, almost like a crazy looking Rambo knife in a way. And his face does look like a beaver. He has a beaver looking face. Looks pretty good. There's rub sign, which probably can't activate it. Probably need a lot more heat than this, which would be interesting. I bet you just hit it with a heat gun, like or hair dryer for a little bit, and all those would show up again. And there he's the back. Now he's got a tail, I guess, going upward. Is that what that is? A tail going upward? It's definitely not a ponytail. So he's got a little bit of extra paint apps with what look like hoses going down him. Pretty interesting looking figure. I think I got a couple of these because it's fun to have. Well, it's fun to have extras, and I just kind of remember which ones I have in vehicles and stuff. Eager Beaver. Next up is Slasher's Seahorse, and Slasher Seahorse is number 45 on the list. And look, it's a good representation of a seahorse, I have to say. They did pretty good with that. And he's kind of brown. He almost matches his weapon. One of the few figures that almost matches their weapon. And for whatever reason, the little jagged edge at the end makes me kind of remind me of a seahorse a little bit. But he's kind of tan, brown, with some light blue armor, some yellow accents. Got some beady little eyes. A little stuff going on back here. It's interesting how it captures the essence of a seahorse. But he's a slasher seahorse. Next up, we've got Night Owl. This guy's going to be up with me editing this video all night. Great job, bro. He's number 46, and he comes with this thing here, which this kind of looks like the symbol for the Boy Scouts. Am I right? Boy Scout symbol as his weapon accessory. So, I don't know. Am I right? Am I wrong? It's been a while since I've seen it, but it's what it feels like when I see it. He's got wings, so there's several that have wings. Does get a little bit confusing when you're first collecting this, but after a while you're like, okay, well, one's an eagle and one's a different kind of bird. This is an owl. It's not a bird. And does he look like an owl? Hoo-hoo, yes. Hoo-hoo, yes, yes, you are an owl. So, Night Owl, looking pretty good. It's kind of fun to have a different representation of different types of animals in this, and it's always fun to have them with wings. Next up we have Hunchback Camel number 47, and let's see, does he look like a camel? Yeah, I guess you can say that's a camel noggin, camel head. And then what is this? This almost looks like a camel's kind of footprint in a way, and then spikes coming off of it. In a way. His foot doesn't quite look like that, but in a way, it kind of looks like camel hoof print. Anyway, we've got his rub sign right here. He's yellow and light orange, so there's very little color differentiation in him, and he's kind of shiny. They're not all this shiny, in my opinion, but... And then he's got his humps. So he's got a camel, would have camel humps. That makes a lot of sense. yeah, a lot of things that make sense, that they've a lot of ideas that they put into this line in these figures. So this one was the Hunchback Camel. Next up, we have the Pillaging Polar Bear number 48. Pillaging Polar Bear. Let's look if he looks like a polar bear. You judge. Does that look like a bear? I don't know. Polar bear. Well, you think about the Christmas Coca-Cola commercials, and I guess it sort of matches. Now he's got this weird weapon that is squiggly line at the bottom, and then it's got kind of a rounded, serrated cutting blade area. And there's his... Still not showing up on camera. I'm not even seeing it in person here. It's cast in white, some light blue armor, some red accents. There's his back. And yeah, it's one that's... there's not very many that carry this light of a color palette. And a lot of them that have white have darker, brighter, more vibrant colors to accent that. But not with this one. This one is very light. And it just makes it set aside as a little bit different because it's a polar bear. Next up we have Squirrely Squirrel is number 49. And this is one where, for whatever reason, I think I had his weapon. No, maybe not. It's like a newer one that I didn't have. This is kind of a strange one. So he doesn't have wings, but he has what's almost like wings on his shoulders. They look like wings, but they're not wings. Okay. And then there's his weapon. It's kind of weird looking, kind of like another melee cutting weapon. It cuts this way or that way. Looks like you'd want to go cut down some like wild grass in your easement with it. But let's see if he looks like a squirrel. Does he look like a squirrel? My wife calls them rats with fluffy tails. She doesn't like squirrels, and she doesn't like rats or mice. But there's a lot of squirrels running around. My dog chases squirrels all the time. There's the back of it. I guess that's supposed to be a tail. I'm not sure. Usually these... You'd think a squirrel would have a tail, not wing pieces. But he's still kind of cool for what he is, in a nice color scheme. And a nice complementary color. Squirrely squirrel. All right, next up is Saber Sword Tiger number 50. Number 50. And but we're still in Series 2. We haven't switched over to Series 3 just yet. And he's got a baton. It's weird. This is almost like something you'd be fencing with. Or it could either be a baton or one of those fencing on guard. Fencing swords. It's weird. Does he look like he is actually a tiger? It's tight like a tiger. Ha. Let's rub this really good here. Didn't get much. But anyway, he's got some little horns on the shoulders and some paint apps on the eyes. Nothing really going on the back. And it does kind of seem a little dull. But I mean, I guess they're running out of ideas for this. So some semi-repeat in pretty much every aspect of this figure. But he still looks a little bit different. Saber Sword Tiger. Next up, we got Bludgeoning Bulldog. Bludgeoning Bulldog is going to bludgeon you in the head with this cane. He's going to hit you over the head with his cane. And that's that. All he comes with is a walking stick. But it's got a point at the end, so it could probably like go through someone's chest. I guess that's the plan. Does he look like a bulldog? Sort of. Sort of, kind of. Interesting color scheme. So I like how he's got a really light gray skin tone. He's got a black, it's almost jet black armor, and then he's got kind of a mauve color accents. Almost like he's got a bit of a bump for a little bulldog tail there. So a lot of cool touches they did with this guy before he bludgeoningly bulldogs you. Next up is Putrid Skunk number 52, and the bulldog is 51. This is the weapon that I was thinking of, because this came in a Visionaries lot. So I had it forever from a Visionaries lot. And I was like, what is this thing? And then I found out it was for Battle Beasts. And I was like, cool, I complete a figure in Battle Beasts. That'll be great. And I completed a few more since then. But here is a skunk. Does he look like a skunk? You know, I don't really see skunks face to face very much. So I don't know. I don't know. But he's got a face mask on because he knows he stinks. You don't have to smell himself. I guess that works, huh? Yeah, that works. Let's see the back of him. And there he goes. Like, I guess you'd expect no giant fluffy tail, though. Yeah, skunk should have a tail. Anyway, this one here is putrid skunk. We now start Series 3, Panzer Panda. And this is when they start getting a bit on the pricey side, hard to acquire side of things. And here is the panda. This is where his rub is, which the rub's actually looking like fire. Can't get it to show up though on the screen. Anyway, he's got this sword. It's kind of a thick kind of sword there, dagger kind of thing with a guard on it. That's an interesting little take there. Does he look like a panda bear? Yeah, he does look like a panda bear. Like, I think this was probably, wasn't it Ling Ling and Sing Sing at the time that they made these? I don't remember, but for some reason I feel like that was the 80s pandas that were really popular back then. But he's cast in white, and he has some, well, I think he's cast in white. He's got some black details on him and stuff. But, okay looking figure overall. It gets the job done. The first one out of the gate for Series 3, and not a bad one. Next up, we got Leapin' Lizard here. Leapin' Lizard, and he's got this giant headpiece, which is part of his lizardness, I guess. Does it look like a lizard? I guess it looks like a lizard. Here is his weapon and accessory that is pretty nice. Looks like a giant can opener or a bottle opener. Is like, I'll open your beer for you. Come on over here. But there's his rub and cast in kind of a brown, blue armor, red accents. Nothing going on over here, but he looks like he can sort of be protected from behind pretty easily because of what he's got going on there. But Leaping Lizards. Next up, we've got Killer Koala, and this is Killer Koala's number 55, Leaping Lizard 54, Panzer Panda 53. And does this look like a koala bear? Yeah, it kind of does. I could see him chomping on some bamboo, or climbing up, chomping on some bamboo. It works. He's got a green ear. It's probably an enhanced cyber bionic ear or something. Oh, this is his axe. It's a double-bladed axe kind of thing. It's pretty simple. Like, they didn't go all crazy with it, which is kind of nice in a way. He's got some green armor on kind of a strange, pale kind of coloration to him with some red accents and eyes. Beady little eyes, but anyway, I like putting the weapon like that. This is Killer Koala. You will not live. Next up, we got Taser Tyrant, which is 56. Number 56, Taser Tyrant. And I don't know what a taser is, or taser. This does also kind of look like a boomerang, but it also kind of looks like it would just be a melee kind of a weapon. And as you can see there, it's a nice melee weapon. That's a sword, curved sword that could wreak some havoc. He's got a hand, but for whatever reason it's flat. I don't really understand the whole point of it. What's the point of this? Maybe he's just gonna like palm someone in the face, like, oh, in the future we're about to look at you. I don't know what that point is. What's the point of that? But he's kind of brown. He's got bug eye. He's like super bug eyed, and he's kind of brownish, and he's got green armor, some red accents. There he is from the back. But Taser Tyrant is a little bit different, definitely. Next up is Black Panther, and I remember this one being a bit of a challenge to acquire. I don't know exactly why he was hard to acquire, but he was hard to acquire. And I already had the weapon, too. So, just getting a figure. I mean, I probably feel like I paid too much for a figure, an incomplete figure, just to get him. But there weren't a whole lot available to pick up. And with that, I think he might just be like a fan favorite, and people just go after him or something. He's number 57, and he looks good, though. It's a cool looking figure, and I could see having a little army of this guy going after people, and his weapon is kind of interesting. It's like an arrow, but it's got this other bit on it. Sure, there's more you can do with it than what I'm doing, but I just kind of show it. Let's see the back. Did I already show the back? There he is from the back, and not a bad looking figure overall. I kind of like the color scheme, kind of like the breakup, and he definitely looks different with his bold color choices. Next up, we have Torrential Tapir. Tapir? Tapper. Is that a torrential tapper? I don't know what kind of animal that's supposed to be, but it looks kind of cool. It's got double blade. It's like here's the sword, and there's an extra blade coming off of it to make it thicker, and I don't know, cause more damage. Not sure about that. Anyway, he's cast in white, kind of off-white, or mine's just faded, and it's got some green armor, some red accents, a nice little rub sign there. I can't say that my figures or my collection is that great a condition, because I was going for the cheapest I could get with them. I mean, I passed on the ones with broken arms and completely destroyed or anything, but again, they're probably not the best looking representations of these figures. But this one again is Torrential Tapir 58. Next up is King Cobra, and I have to say that this is another one that is a fan favorite, just like we saw before with Black Panther. This one is 59, and he does look a lot like a Cobra snake. This is a really cool looking figure. They've done a great job with him. Just a snake. And then a strange looking accessory weapon that he comes with. But an expensive one, hard to get. I mean, this one is probably, out of the figures we're looking at today, the most expensive figure. Or at least for me, I had to pay the most to track them down. But I'm glad I only had to buy one. 'Cause, not cheap. Anyhow, he runs into like $60, $70 range. Some people, I've seen them catch them for like 30, but those people are super lucky. So anyway, there's his chest symbol. It should kind of change color. Now he is cast in like a brown, and then he's got kind of a purplish pink type of armor, some red accents to him. Cool looking figure overall. Wouldn't mind having a couple of these to put in the displays also, but I don't think I want to spend that kind of money for King Cobra. All right, next up we have Maniac Mandrill number 60, and he comes with this interesting thing. So another one, it looks just like the accessory we saw earlier with another figure that I thought kind of looked like, well, anyway, it's slightly different. Now, it's a staff, and at the top it's got this symbol on it, and that's kind of cool. Maybe it's like you stab something here, and then if that doesn't get them, well, these little ones will get them too. If the left one doesn't get them, the right one will. And so, what is, I don't know, Mandrill? There's his face. Kind of looks like a monkey or something. Ape, a little bit in that range. Cast in gray with some brown armor, tan armor, and some yellow accents on him. And there he is from the back. I want to say, though, his face paint, he's got a lot of paint on the face. There's more paint apps on his face than the average figure, for whatever reason. But makes it look cool, makes it look interesting. This is Maniac Mandrill. Next up we have Pixelated Pointer, as in a pointer dog, I guess. A pointer dog. And then there's his weird looking weapon, which looks like a staff from a Skiff Guard Star Wars figure, but it's not. But it looks like they copied it in a way. Anyhow, he's got some long old ears, though, that come down. They're just molded in, though. There's nothing going on with it. Cast in dark brown, and he's got blue armor, some pinkish, purplish accents painted in. There he is from the back. A nice looking figure overall, but definitely different. So it's like, I really don't like having to get another figure that looks just like one I've already got. And so with this, they made it different, and that is good. So this one was number 61, Pixelated Pointer. Next up is Pillager Pig number 62, and I have to say I'm starting to get out of order. I guess my figures are not put in place properly, but because it comes with this kind of silver staff, so it's strange because they're going to silver staffs, then they go to some purple ones pretty soon. We're still with the silver for now. He does look like a pig. Oink, oink, oink. You know, 3 little pigs. I guess you get 3 of them. And if you wanted to, he's got kind of a peach skin tone, and he's got red armor and some yellow accents with him. There is his back, if you want to check the back of him out. and he's looking okay. Not really much going on there. And yeah, it's a pig. So it's a different animal than they have used yet. And the name, Pillager Pig. Next up, we've got Rowdy Rooster number 63. Rowdy Rooster is number 63, and he is rowdy. So he's got like the most symmetrical weapon in the line. He's got like a stabbing device on each side here, and he looks like a rooster. And yeah, it's got everything you would need to be a rooster. He's got wings, but he probably can't fly. All that good stuff. I promise you he doesn't have bird flu. I promise. He's fine. And he's over there making sure, like, where's the eggs? Yo, where's the eggs at? And then he's got some damage to his... Oh, that's sad. He's got damage to his rub. Still pretty interesting. He's got some nice paint apps. I kind of like the armor. The way the armor looks, you got these little segments in here. But Rowdy Rooster, number 63. Next up, we got Musky Ox, number 64. And he comes with this sword, which looks like a very normal kind of sword. Normal for Battle Beasts. And he's got some horns on there. Does he look like an ox? I guess you could say he does indeed look like an ox. And he's dark brown with some yellow armor on him. And he's got a rub symbol going on right here. Some fun stuff right there. Here he is from the behind the back. This was one of the last ones I got. Not hard to get at all. Very, very common. But since he was one of the last and I already had the weapon, I took my time trying to find one that's a little bit nicer condition. And wasn't any more expensive than the rest of them, to tell you the truth. Because I didn't need his weapon. But... it's fun when you can collect like that. Can't say do that with all of them. Musky Ox 64. Tanglin Pangolin 65. Tanglin Pangolin 65. He's got a weird... I don't even want to tell you what. It's a staff. And it's got some different beads looking thing on it. It looks like it's got beads on it anyway. Pretty interesting looking one. Is whatever he's supposed to be. What kind of animal is that? That's crazy. Crazy looking dude. Guess I should probably learn what the animals are. This one, Series 3. Some of these are a little more expensive, missing his rub sign there. And then here we go with a claw. So it's another one that's just got like a claw like that. So this is the second one they've done just like this with this hand as if it's going to do something. I guess the plan is to claw your enemy to death. But it's still strange. Dark brown with a peach color armor and then red for the accents. Interesting how they did all of that, and this one is called Tanglin Pangolin. Next up, Slowpoke Sloth, number 66, and this is another one that has this weird thing with the hand where he's just going to kind of claw you with this sloth hand. Is that what a sloth looks like? Yeah, it is. I've been seeing sloths on commercials lately, so because they're really slow. They've got this is. Did I even notice this? The last one's where we first started seeing purple weapons. And so now we're into purple weapons for the rest of the series, I think. Yeah, for the rest of the line, they are purple. Okay, so this one has cast in white, green armor, some orange accents, probably the eyes orange too, in the back. Also has the yellow for the claws, so there's a little bit more color in there. He's got claws on both sides, actually, but just one hand is molded to claw forward. And that's Slowpoke Sloth. Let's speed this up. Next up we have Ardent Aardvark. Tell me if that looks like an aardvark. I like those ears. Kind of feels like it's in the neighborhood. I know it's not a rabbit and I know it's not a kangaroo, but the ears make me feel like they're in the same family there. Here is the weapon. It's like a trident kind of thing. It's purple-ish. A little bit bendy in there. And tapers at the bottom. So he is cast in white, orange armor, yellow accents. Strange choice there. As you can see, this left arm, it's kind of like a hook, like a clamp. I don't know. Ooh, his arm did not want to move. Ooh, that was scary. I've seen people break some arms. I did not want to break this arm. Anyway, Ardent Aardvark, number 67. Slowpoke Sloth was 66, and the Penguin was 65. All right, so next one is Bodacious Bovine, number 68. And does he look like a bovine? This is a moo. There's a bunch of bull. Haha, no, I'm just kidding. Anyway, He does come with a purple weapon. It looks like a giant stabby weapon. Looks like ones we've seen before, but of course it's in purple. And they're all completely different casts, so it is different. He's cast in white. He has some purple armor on him. And I haven't moved these arms on these guys yet. A little bit of kind of mauve color of accents to him. And yeah, a different one. I mean, if you're looking at someone that's more or less a bull for the most part, it looks pretty good. Looks pretty good overall. Again, Bodacious Bovine number 68. All right, next up is Zealot Zebra at 69, and he is a nice looking figure. He's another one that's kind of hard to get in Series 3. One of the things I want to point out real quick is that he has a gray arm and a gray leg. So you don't see much of this where they have a color breakups on these figures. They're usually quite symmetrical with the color placing. And then there's his weapon. It looks like a big old knife, but also it looks like it could flip around as a gun handle to me. That's just in my mind. He's another one of these that has this stabbing device on his hand. Instead of a hand, he's got something to stab you with. He does look like a very nice zebra. I like that black painted mane. And there are the ears painted black on there too. And whatever that is in the center, he's got a black dot. And then here he is from behind. No tail. And you can see the color breakups on this guy. Zealot Zebra number 69. So next up, we've got Harrier Hawk number 70. After this one, only 6 more to go. And this one here has an interesting, it's like a sword. And then another little stabbing device at the bottom there. Or a tail fin kind of thing, kind of bendy. The thing is, he's got his wings. It looks like he's got, like, partially, kind of like he's part of the board, you know? His technology has taken over half of his face, and for whatever reason, but that's what's going on. I don't know if I'd like that so much, but he's cast in kind of a darker gray, medium gray, and then light blue, kind of a teal, then some red accents, some yellow accents. I do think they upped the paint on these in the Series 3 because they had to do something to differentiate them. And he's also, since he's a hawk, right? Harrier Hawk. His face looks like a hawk. Not bad. Number 70. Next up on the list, we have Diving Duckbill number 71. Diving Duckbill is a duck. Another duck, but of course he's doing something different. He's diving. And he's got a duck bill, and he's another one with this just hand like that. You can't hold anything with it. Kind of sucks. Here's from the back with his apparatus, his his breathing device that he's going to be using when he goes underwater, and he's going to snorkel. Nice snorkel he's got going on there. Looks like he's got some more paint accents there. Kind of gray with some strange brown looking armor, but it's not really armor anymore. Now it's just kind of like chaps. He's wearing chaps. Look at that. He's literally wearing chaps. Anyway, his weapon looks like that. It's I don't know what they would call his weapon, but it's just another unique stabbing device, another can opener looking guy for Diving Duckbill number 71. Next up we have Crooked Crow number 72, and he's got some wings, so another winged one. Is it a crow? I gotta tell you, I do not, in real life, I don't like crows. I'll keep them away from me. But in the toy form, I guess he's okay. Looks more like a chicken. Right? More like a chicken than a crow. He does have this kind of hook weapon, or he's the Riddler and he's got a question mark. Well, I got a question. Riddle me this, Battle Beasts. Anyhow, he's got cast in black, it appears, with some teal, some not teal, but more of aqua color armor, some yellow paint apps. He's got yellow socks on, so don't knock his socks off. And then his wings right there. Very interesting color breakup and dynamic with this one, which is Crooked Crow. I gotta tell you, there's nothing honest about him. Next up, Frenzied Flamingo number 73 is another winged figure. Another one, back to back. Does that look like a flamingo to you? Flamingos. You always see flamingos with the one leg, and he's standing on 2 feet, so pretty solid. This weapon is weird, too. It's like, I don't know if I've got it right, but according to my image, that is the correct position up and down. I don't know what's correct. It doesn't seem like it's right like this, but he can't really hold it right. I don't know. It's weird. But at this point, it just is what it is, right? I can't even explain it. Now, probably messed up. It's got messed up something right there. He is cast in this pinkish hue with some teal and some teal armor, some red, orangish red accents. He's got socks on. So now I guess in Series 3, the later they get, the more of them wear socks. I guess that's how it goes. But a pretty interesting figure overall. Frenzied Flamingo number 73. All right, next up we have the Fleet-Footed Antelope number 74. And I want to point out something that he has two different weapons. One is the original one over here, and then this one here is the reproduction. So the original and the reproduction, you can see that the original is much thinner. The reproduction is a lot thicker, but of course the place where he holds it is exactly the same, so he can hold it, which is interesting. I guess they did that just to say that, hey, this thing is a reproduction, so don't pass it off as an original. There is his head sculpt. Looking okay. He's cast in tan with some orangish reddish armor, some yellow accents, and he does have his rub. I'm not sure if it works. There he is from behind. Overall, pretty good looking figure. Fleet-Footed Antelope number 74. Next up is Pugnacious Penguin number 75. Another cool one. Another fun figure. I like this. He does look like a penguin. You can decide how much of a penguin he looks like to you. Does he look like he waddles a bit? Yeah, I guess he looks like he waddles a little bit. His weapon accessory right here is kind of like a projectile missile is what it looks like to me. And he's got some fins on his shoulders right there. He is from behind. He's got two different colors of blue on him, black and the white, which would match what a real penguin would look like, which is kind of a good way to do it. So this one is kind of fun. It's kind of cool. Getting late in the series. So another one that was challenging to pick up, Pugnacious Penguin, number 75. Next up we have Ossified Orangutan. I don't know if he's awesome-fied, but he's number 76. And he is cast in a brown, green armor, looking pretty cool. Another one with the straight arm gizmo thing. His hand is there, molded as he's going to be like hitting you straight in the solar plex with that. He does look kind of cool and different. And as he's the last figure in Series 3 that they made. Another one that was a little bit challenging to get your hands on. This is his weapon accessory. That's what it looks like. And here it is from the back. And does he really look like an orangutan? I'll let you decide on that head sculpt right there. But finishing it off, finishing the first 3 series of figures is Ossified Orangutan. And there he goes. So I'm not going to get into Laser Beasts, but as you saw, all of these figures from the first 3 series were Battle Beasts. These are Laser Beasts. There's a big difference between the two because of the fact that these come with guns, instead of stabbing devices. Then also, if I can get it in here, you can see, you can see it. Look at that. There's the fire. This is a much better gimmick. You see his fire. I think that this is much, much better and stands the test of time and looks better. Oh man, look at that. Look at that. There's the wood. You see that? This is so much better, vastly superior to what they had done in the past. Now there are 36 of these, and I don't have anywhere near all of them, but I have a few, and I'm just showing you the tip of the iceberg. One day, 1 year, 1 decade, when I track them all down, we'll do a video. And so we're going to start with looking at the chariots. There are 3 of them. They are all almost the same thing, but they have different heads for the most part. I think they copied the rear section and did different stuff in the front, is the way it looks to me. But we're going to start off with the Battling Bighorn blue one. Here's Battling Bighorn, and it's going to do a few things. Let's just go ahead and start with the features of popping this up, and then that's where you put your other Battle Beast figures if you want to stick them in there. I don't know what faction goes with what figures are with what faction. I don't care. I'm just showing off the toy here, and so that he's got figure storage, which looks quite interesting. but they fall off very easy. One of the features is they all do this. So as you roll it, the mouth will chomp. Now they have decals. This one has a sticker right here, and then none on the back. On the top, they all have on the top the wood, fire, and firewood and water gimmick. The rock, scissors, papers. There's the wheels on the bottom. There are the eyeballs. We've got guns that are glued in to the horns. We got some horns on there, looking kind of rough and rugged. And then there's the like an opposite of the sticker. You can see the horns on the sticker. So there is all of that fun stuff. Let's look at the next one. This one's the Battle and Deer Stalker. They're all battling. So Battle and Deer Stalker, and it's pretty much the same. Now I'm going to show something different on this one. To put the figure in there, you slide this compartment open, and the figure goes inside there. So I figure show some different stuff here as you close those up. They say there's specific figures that come with them, but I've seen differing results on what figures came with which one of these riders, so I don't really bother lining them up. Plus, I don't have doubles of all the ones that are people have said are the riders, so I just stick whatever in there I have an extra one of with an accessory. It's fine with me, but I guess there might be a little more research needing to be done there to figure out exactly which figure goes with which chariot. But there's a sticker on this side, and then if you look over here, it's kind of the mirror image on this side of the sticker. He does have these front guns here. Mine and the horns seem to be faded or something, but it's okay. I got them as cheap as I could, and they are complete, functional, and for the most part, look pretty good. Lastly, we got Terran Tiger. This tiger is going to tear through with his choppy mouth. Not much more to say about this guy other than he's got some stripes on him. He's got some stuff going on right here. Pretty good looking figure overall. Looks great. There are the screw holes if you want to take one apart and try to repair it. Maybe this doesn't work. I have not taken one completely apart. The only thing I needed to do was to swap out this piece with one, and that was fine. That was easy. You didn't have to take it apart to do that. So just popping it out. Anyhow, there are the chariots. Let's get on to the vehicle bases. First one I want to talk about is the shark playset. It's called the Shocking Shark, and it's got a fin on there. He's got his gun that could go there. It could go in several different places. The mouth does not open. Okay. And there's a fin on the side here. Some stickers and decals all the way around. This guy looking pretty good overall. And then on the back here, for whatever reason, there's this. It looks like a propulsion unit, but I think you open it to store. Can I even get it off this time? I think you're supposed to open it to store stuff. You can store weapons and accessories and stuff. Or more figures in there, I guess, if you want to. And then this little hatch here opens up, which will expose, you can put a gun on there. But I think you're supposed to hide away the guns in there, or something along those lines. And there are the fire, water gimmick. Now, we can do a couple of things here. We need to transform it. We're going to lift it up. And then we're going to open it all the way down. This one is not completely complete, but I have one that's completely complete. To finish transforming it, you have to fold this flap down and fold that down. Forgot about that. And it's kind of hard to get this all in frame. It is it's not a huge vehicle. It's kind of decent size vehicle, but let's go ahead and zoom in on the different functions and features. First of all, we're gonna come down here and look at this. So we've got the gel cell. You can open that up, throw this dude in the gel cell, and pretty much everything out of gel cell. There is a waterfall. These are just stickers added on to some extra pieces that plug into it. And then there's another sticker in here showing the waterfall hitting the bottom and some land inside of a base. So this is supposed to be a base for them where you put some extra figures. And then the front here we have this claw that grabs a figure. Of course, I have an extra one of him, so I put him in there. Lots of fun. And then there's one of this guy here for some fun. Now, I don't think this will plug into these, or these will plug into that. And so it comes with, I think, just two of these. So here is these set of guns, and they're adjustable up and down because they just basically clip onto this clip. A lot of these clips come missing, and they're specific to each vehicle. Like, you couldn't pull this clip off and use it on the Eagle, I don't think. But maybe you can. I don't know. I just think that was where the problem is with these. You got this other one over here, so you can have some other gunner stations. You can man these stations if you wanted to. You can have people, someone right here manning a station. That's what it's all about. And then we come up to the top here, and at the top, you can see that there are a couple of things. You have this little wood piece here. You've got this piece right there, and yeah, pretty good stuff overall. If this wood gate fence piece just keeps them from falling out, and it looks really cool. And just adding up all these little pieces and parts of the pieces, this thing is hard to complete, but there it is. We call it Shocking Shark. All right, next up we've got an eagle. The official name of the eagle is Blazing Eagle. I keep want to call him Battle Eagle. I want to call him Battle everything. Battle Eagle, Battle Beetle, but this Blazing Eagle. And of these playsets, this one is my favorite, actually. I like it. I think it looks the coolest. It looks like it's fun. You could act like it's flying. And it has wheels so it can roll. It has this little tail over here, which is going to tuck up when it transforms. And these are transforming bases, so all of them do transform. Here is the top gun thing. It can swivel and turn around. Nice looking overall. Now, let's get this thing into its transformed form, and what you have to do is just lift up on this, and then you're going to fold this over, and you've got this in its upright state. Then you're going to fold these pieces out and lift up on this here, like so. And you have it, and then you can put a guy up here if you want to, and he can man that station. And then you can put some other figures on it and fill it out like this. So this is how it pretty much looks, completely decked out. Kind of hard to get everything in frame. And you have an audience back there, of course, with the whole team. This is pretty fun looking vehicle, but let's get into some of these. From the back on the, I guess would be the right wing, you have this weapon storage container. I guess I should have shown it while it was in flight. But what's the easiest way to get this off? Pull this off, and you can store weapons in there. It is the weapons storage bin, and that's all I got to say about that. Every one of these has some sort of a storage area. All right, so there is a gun that's revealed once the beak comes up. This is the main gun right here, and like all of them, it kind of pivots and goes up and down. There's a jail cell right here if you want to open this up and put someone in there, or a couple of someone's in there. Probably wouldn't have their weapons if they're in jail, but see, but we're all friends here. Like, my battle beasts do not have any beef with any other battle beasts. They're all buds. They might joke with each other, but there's no enemies here. So there's no factions. There's no different sides of the fight. Anyhow, that's pretty much it. There's a second layer up here for them to stand, but I just think visually, this is one of the most interesting looking ones visually, and I like the way it looks. I like the way it looks. I like the way it works. I like that you can have someone standing guard up here, and that it just turns into such a big display piece. Maybe not a play piece, display piece. Lastly, we have the Wood Beetle. Of course, I want to call it the Battle Beetle, but it's the Wood Beetle. That's the real name, is Wood Beetle. This one was the hardest one for me to get complete, and it was a little frustrating and irritating at the time. I just didn't want to spend $200 on a complete one. Most everybody wants $200 for a complete one, and I wanted to get one for under $100. I don't think I quite achieved that, but it still was pretty close to $100. Just took months to achieve that. Now, it rolls along as a Beetle thing would, and don't tell me I'm missing wheels. It doesn't roll very well. I have all my wheels, just doesn't roll all that well. Then one thing that you can do with, so there is this little grabby thingy there. I'm going to grab onto that grabby thingy to grab them, just like you saw with the shark. Also, there's this thing which I really don't know what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to send out a beam or something. I don't know what it does. And then Moving over to the side, we've got the sticker on here. These things do nothing. They're just decorative. This in here, I think it does nothing. It's decorative also. But I do believe these are supposed to pop up so you can store weapons in there. I think you should be able to. But I can't guarantee what they were thinking on this. I have no instructions, and I don't want to break it. So we have these side guns that go up. They're inverse, reverse. They're not the exact same gun. There's ones... You can have them upper or lower, however you want, if you want to do that. Then up top we have this gun here, up and down, shoots, bang, bang. And they're not the same mold as the other ones. Like, you would have thought that with Hasbro doing this, they would have used the same molds. But no, they didn't. They're all unique molds. Now let's get into transforming this guy. First thing to do is you got to split it. But you have to lift up as you move it out, because it kind of clips in, I guess, to there. Lift up as you're moving it out. I'm lifting up as I move it out. Never paid too close of attention, but there's 3 notches here, and then there is a tab right here. That's what's locking it. That's why lifting it up helps get it out. And here we go. It's not fully transformed yet because you fold this up for whatever reason, and you've got this storage bin down here. Okay, so I guess that's where you store your weapons. Never mind. Don't try to store them in the wheel well. I was wrong. So this is a weird part. It's kind of strange. A lot of stuff on this are strange, but is strange. Let's put some figures on it. All right, so this piece actually can fold all the way around like that, so they can stand on there, like so. So you can put some figures up there. You put a figure here. Put a figure in here. Put a figure in there. Also, as with most playsets, it has a gel cell. Opens out like so, and you can toss yourself a figure in there if you want to, for whatever reason, to put your figure in a gel cell. Oh, it fell down. Lots of decals, like it looks like part of the wood's carved out there. This is like a display screen. There's something going on the floor there. So there are some decals, interesting decals going on with this thing. But overall, one of the harder ones to get. Not my favorite, but it is interesting, and I guess if I wanted to, I could put my extra weapons in there. I don't want to do that. No, don't want to do that. When you're done playing with it, you want to close it up. Another thing you could do if you don't want this to be out is you can flip this around like this, and you should be able to close it all up. Not. Nope, you can't do that. I don't know why. For some reason, I thought that was a thing you could do, but the storage container gets in the way, and the words get in the way. So I really hope this helped clear some stuff up about these battle beasts, let you know about all the figures that were made, and get to see the accessories that go with it, get to see all these play sets, how they work, what parts go with them, and how they transform. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like and subscribe. We'll be getting to the laser beast eventually, maybe 3 years from now. Tell your mayor out.